All right, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. We had an awesome trading day. Before I get into this important news regarding Venezuela, the stock market, and these new sanctions, we talked about this on stream. Make sure you guys don't miss it. Any of the recent videos, it's in the description. It'll say main channel, or you could come right here and go to it. Honestly, we had a great discussion. We ended it. This is not even 10 minutes of the chat, so please come by. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts even throughout the trading day. Today was very interesting, but now the headlines came out a few hours ago that Pence and the Treasury have announced another set of sanctions on Venezuela, and they really just gave full-blown support to Nicolas Maduro's opposition. Now, this is an interesting situation, and why I want to talk about it is how it relates to the stock market, some of the volatility, and compare it to other sanctions and how we've seen it affect the markets, because there's a lot of clues here, and I want to be able to notice the difference, because sanctions are very important, especially we've been seeing it more and more, but I want to give kind of context to this. So you guys could go search Venezuela sanctions. It was hard to find about an hour ago when it dropped. It came out about 2 hours ago, but now everything's starting to circulate. People are getting more details on it, and I think how this develops is going to be very, very interesting. It's time. That's one of the headlines. That's what Mike Pence says. If this is time, then the stage has already been set, because this is what I want to talk about. This is the first time, this was from February 1st, but on January 28th, 2018, that was the first level of sanctions that we put on Venezuela, and literally it was just this was the same day, and I have the Wikipedia page as well, but days before that, the president said we're done with President Trump. Maduro said he's done with Trump, he's done with the U.S., and that's because we just started recognizing the Juan Guaido guy. Excuse me if I'm butchering the name, but that was literally, hey, the U.S. supports the opposition, things are getting bad, and now he was out. And then right after, we sanctioned some of the oil companies. Now, there's keys to this, because they issued more, but now there's authorizations on these companies till July 29th, 2019 and April 28th, 2019. So these give us dates with how this could escalate. But the fact that this came today, this was an escalation. It's because what's happening, they're using the National Guard back there to block off supply chains, and they're saying it's a humanitarian issue. You guys know the U.S. foreign policy. It's always for the people, right? That's how we get into places. So in this case, that's what they're saying, and they're giving money and support to the opposition. Anybody against Maduro is getting it, and that's what this sanction is now. They're doing new sanctions. They're setting a whole nother round to go after anybody that has had, and they're calling on people to follow them, but anybody who had any assets or businesses with now the oil giant, and now they're spreading it out to other companies and just in general, but more sanctions is not good. And now, what do I want to compare this to? This is what I believe is the most important part: Russia. Russia and their, some could call it a proxy war. You could call it whatever you want. We're not here to get tinfoil, but the fact is, Russia is related to oil. Russia is also with China and tariffs. It's funny how we get the tariffs out of the way, and I'm going to make another video on this. The next two big issues to watch right here in the market is how Brexit plays out. I'm going to make another video talking about that more in depth, but now it's Russia, oil, and all this other stuff that we kind of slept on. But I want you to notice these dates: August 8th, August 12th. This week of August, oil goes down, the ruble is going to weaken, or anytime there's something really not too good with our policy, over the years, it stayed stable. We didn't have too much Russia stuff, but literally since April 18, and again, this correlates with other sanctions, and this is why I'm bringing it up, because now you guys saw that date, but this is the one thing I wanted to say. Most global currencies today, you saw the yuan weaken, which was surprising, but the Chinese currency, the yen weakened, the Japanese currency weakened, but then the yuan actually strengthened, which was good. But usually, you want the ruble strengthening. As you see, ruble strengthens from January. What did the markets do? They go up, and that's the key. It's different for the Japanese yen, but the fact that this is moving, it's starting to weaken off of this news. And then again, if you looked at natural gas futures, this has an effect, because when we're looking at natural gas and oil, Venezuela, Russia, these guys are going to come into the mix. And now even I believe today, Mexico put sanctions on steel on China, which is, all of this is diving into it. This is very important stuff to watch, but the fact that this is weakening is very, very crucial. And why do I look at the currencies? People ask, I'm not looking at this to trade them. It's it's just the fact why I bring up these dates and look at these currencies. It costs, reserves to move these currencies. There's a lot of interplays. Currencies do not just move, and it gives you a real reflection of how markets are interpreting things and how things are feeling. And it looks, I'm looking at other currencies right now, and I'm seeing the markets live right now and how we are. The market, it's still good news, but how we play off through this week. But finishing this, the main point with these dates in August 12th, it's sanctions. And here is Turkey. I think we can't forget, coming in August, literally preceded a month or two prior to this whole dip, we did sanctions on Turkey. And prior to that, it was about a year? When was the last time Turkey had that little fiasco? I believe end of 16, 17. You start to see it go crazy when there was a coup, and again, leadership change. It's the same exact scenario. It's leadership changes. Their key crucial, either allies or parts or key crucial countries and leadership roles for certain economies and geographical areas of political interest. So this is very important that we saw what happened with the sanctions. It weakened the currency, and again, Russia responded the same way, and it had the same effects even now if we go to oil. This is our oil future charts, but where's, let me get a 1 year. That is a 1 year. Yeah. So where's August? I don't know why this thing is, it's not showing me my dates. Oh, April, August. See, August, oil was coming down, but, maybe you could say August 12th, but it kept going. But then we saw what happened with the markets catching up. So these currencies are a big indicator. But this pretty much what I'm trying to say is Venezuela is interesting. And another thing, you can't get a quoted rate on Venezuela's currency. It's actually kind of like the Iranian currency, which is very, very interesting. You could go here. It's telling you that one bolivar is worth, for years it was at 15 cents. Now it's at 10 cents, but it's just flat. There's no trade in market with it. There's the black market, and that's part of sanctions. We're cutting them off. The same exact thing. You could get a rate for the Turkish lira, but checking anything from like Iran, Syria, currencies like that, you're not going to get it. So they're kind of excluded from the financial world. And then again, they are doing their own independent thing, and that's what people could complain about the Maduro regime or whatever they may want to regime, whatever you want to call it, right? But that's pretty much it, and this is something to watch out for. So I'm keeping my eyes out on this on the market, how this is going to affect the market. But I think this is one thing that came out today, very important. And like August showed us in other sanctions in the past, it's the setup. The first setup was in January. 3 months later, this happens. This is either going to be the kicker, or this is that next final step, and then maybe 2-3 months from now, we are going to see an effect from this, or somehow I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this affect the market. So I'll leave that there. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the live streaming channel so we could see you there live. And also make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel with post notifications so you don't miss any of the news, tutorials, or anything we got here. So I love you guys. Appreciate it. Good luck trading. Actually, before I end this, I totally forgot. I think this is important to give an explanation of, because it is, again, go look up the Turkey situation. But I do want to highlight, like I'm saying, this is the setup. It's escalating to a point now by fully supporting, because throughout the years, this has gone on. It's not since 2013 this has happened, where Venezuela has become an issue. And again, the key point, at one point, Venezuela was the #1 exporter of oil. I think they're still up there on the list, but since then, it's just like they're facing the same issue with Russia. That's why Russia is supporting them, because when we did the first sanctions in Russia in 2014, and again, this is where a lot of the oil difficulties come from in the market. We can't ignore that this was 2014, 2015, when oil started dropping. It was around the time of all of these sanctions on these big oil producers. And it's interesting, again, today, this is why I wanted to bring it up, is what Trump said about oil coming down. So this is all very important. This started under even Obama's administration. They said that literally in 2014, they started passing sanctions and all this. Then they said it is a threat to national security. And even earlier in August 2017, Maduro's son threatened to go to war with, they took what Trump said as a national security set, and he said he'll literally bring rifles to New York. So it's an interesting spot here. But again, this has gone on, and it's related to oil, and I want to make sure you guys are understanding that. the relation to Russia, and then also the comparisons with how this parallels the Turkey situation, what that did for our markets, and understanding if, even though the tariffs and Brexit are stuff, those are all the same underlying event. If this starts to disrupt the monetary system with money, capital, that's going to affect bonds, investments, FDI, bond rates, all that, which we've already seen. And again, to even companies, because, in 2017, they seized General Motors plant. But I also believe, I think it was Kimberly Clark, I believe, also got seized not too long ago. So this could have interesting business effects. A lot of people, though, again, if you were saying what companies can we play, it's probably going to be oil companies, because since 2013 and the sanctions, most businesses don't have big presences in Venezuela anymore, and they're not making tons of profit like, it was Japan or Europe or China. So hopefully that makes sense. I had to add that in there. Didn't want you guys to forget. But I love you guys. Make sure you subscribe. All that. Goodbye.